welcome back. This is an interesting one. He was locked up at 16 years old for life. Let's jump into it.
Mr. Wesley, my name is Bonnie Jackson. Your case has been assigned to me, so I'll start questioning for you're 41 years old now,
Yes, ma'am.
and you've been in prison for approximately 24 years.
Yes, ma'am.
More than half your life.
Yes, ma'am.
You were 16 at the time of this offense,
Yes, ma'am.
just short of making 17, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what was going on in your life 24 years ago. How far had you gone in school? I think you ended up dropping out of school.
Yes, ma'am.
What grade were you in when you dropped out?
10,
How old were you?
16.
Why did you drop out?
Young in the streets, not thinking.
That's kind of, did you have any kind of learning disability?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What was your learning disability?
I was in special education all my life, and
Or you struggled in school?
yes, ma'am.
And I see that even since being incarcerated, you have struggled with being able to take your high set because you can't get up to the minimum level to be able to take the high set. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So who were you living with back then?
Ma'am.
Who lived with back then?
My mother and father.
Okay, so you have both parents in your house?
Yes, ma'am.
So how'd you get so out of control?
I I can't say. I don't young, and I wasn't thinking. I was just in the streets. I wasn't listening. They taught me. They was telling me. They stayed on me. I just felt like I knew it all.
Were you involved in any kind of gang activity?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that. What gang and how did you become involved in the gang?
I was a blood and neighborhood that I grew up in. That's what I seen at a young age and felt like that was cool, and it really wasn't though. When I look back now, it was very foolish. It don't have no meaning to it. It caused me half of my life to be in jail.
More than half your life. Well, I want you to be honest with us, Mr. Wesley, because we have all police reports, we have all of the information surrounding you. Okay?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
today is the day for complete honesty. And I will tell you that for me, honesty is an important factor that I take into consideration in deciding if a person has grown or might be ready for release. So I want complete honesty from you.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell the board what happened in the incident where this 13-year-old child was killed. I want to know everything. I want to know what you did. I want to know how it came to be.
Um, Before I answer that question, I'd like to let the victim family know and the board know
you'll have a chance to do that. You really will. I'm going to give you a chance to,
Just answer that.
but I just wanted, what happened?
It was a Sunday afternoon. I was going back to my parents' house, and my co-defendant Larry Smith and Demetri Easter, and it was two, Shaka Reed and Shika Reed. They were sisters. And I came in contact with them, like I say, going to my parents' house. And they were like,
Stop right there. But you knew them before. Is that correct?
yes, I knew Demetri Easter and Larry Smith from the neighborhood. Yes, ma'am.
Was Mr. Easter and Mr. Smith part of the Bloods?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So you knew them because you were kind of in a gang with them. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so tell us what happened.
So they were like, they had been in the Hollywood Heights neighborhood and at the basketball court, and somebody supposed to have been shot at them, and they were like, we're going back over there. So I'm like, okay. We get in the Larry car and goes over there. I don't know the dude. I never met them, but my co-defendant, they like, there they go, and shots was fired. And I can't do it.
Shots fired. Shots don't fire themselves.
Oh,
Fire stop.
I take responsibility. I shot,
That's
and my co-defendant shot.
And you do understand that, if both of you shot, doesn't matter whose bullet actually caused the death, you're both equally responsible. You both shot. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You're just a little kid, 13 years old. What was going through your mind that would make you think it was okay to shoot at somebody who's 13 years old? What was going through your 16-year-old mind at that time?
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking. It was a group of them, and
Let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. Did you see them as human beings that had families that loved them, that, would be grieved about them? Did those kind of thoughts ever enter your thinking back then?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When did those thoughts enter? Because obviously at the time you pointed a weapon and fired at them, you could have been thinking about the fact that they had mothers, fathers, sisters, family members who loved them. So help me understand what goes on in the mind of a person who just shoots at somebody, So help me understand. I'm struggling to understand.
It's kind of. I don't know. I can't.
Just relax and answer the question.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying.
To be such a thing. Just relax and tell her how you were able to do this. If you saw them as people, just relax and answer your question. You're doing fine. Just relax.
I wasn't thinking back then. I just was moving. I wasn't thinking.
Pumped up by the whole situation.
Ma'am?
Pumped up.
And you were caught up in the whole situation and you.
Yeah.
So
yes,
what What does being part of a gang give you that you weren't getting from your family and friends? What were you getting from being in a gang?
Nothing, because my family gave me everything I ever wanted. They always been there for me.
Where are your co-defendants?
One of them in Angola and one on the street.
And one in Angola. Have you seen him since y'all did this crime?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about, let me ask you this. Were you involved in drug activity, drug dealing, or drug use when you were with the blood?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that. What was your involvement?
I smoke weed.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Never cocaine?
No, ma'am.
What about selling drugs?
I didn't sell. I smoked weed. That's all I ever did, man.
Well, you have a lot of opposition. Everybody kind of perished, all the law enforcement entities, judicial entities, DA, victims. So there's a lot of opposition. You can't do anything about that. So that's just the reality of this situation. So tell us how you're different today than you were 24 years ago.
I walk with God now, and all my negative ways, I put them behind me, and I live a positive life now. I want to be remembered as someone doing something good, not bad. And
So tell me what did you do to make that turn? What did you take in particular programs that really had an impact on you? And if so, what were they?
thinking for a change.
Let's stop
Victim
right. Let's stop there. What'd you get out of what was the main points that you got out of thinking for change?
I had to reprogram the way I think, the way I thought. My thinking was, it was bad, and that taught me how to use my brain to not just react to things.
And you mentioned victim awareness. Before we get to that, I want to talk to you about living in balance. What did you get out of living in balance?
Never use drugs again. That it's gonna bring you. It's gonna always bring you back to where you come from.
Did you take anger management?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us about that.
Anger management. I learned to control my anger and not let it control me.
And then let's talk about victim awareness. Tell me about what effect victim awareness have on you.
To really understand that
Have on you.
to really understand that the victim's not the only victim, is the family, the victim family, the community, my family, and me, really.
How do you feel about the impact that you've had on victims?
It really hurt me to know that my actions caused this much pain to only my family. It just, I go through it every day, knowing that I hurt someone like this.
You've had 47 write-ups, which, given your age when you came in the prison system, is not unusual for young offenders to have some adjustment issues. I'm showing that your last write-up was in 2016. You got 2 in 2016. Can you tell us about those?
One on for horse playing, and the other was for cigarettes, having cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes, and yeah, I used to do horse playing around. I did that too.
Did you receive extended lockdown?
Yes, ma'am. But cigarettes, I went to the cell blocks. Yes, ma'am.
Well, why did you get extended lockdown for cigarettes?
It was contraband. They had stopped. You can have them anymore.
Well, I understand that, but I've seen people with mojo who didn't get extended lockdown, and I'm just curious as to why your punishment was extended lockdown.
Oh, at this correction, at this jail, they by the rules. They
Way,
yes, ma'am.
I got you. Well, tell me, how long have you been at David Wayne? Obviously, since 2016, where you got extended lockdown, and how long have you been there?
10 and a half years. 10 and a half years.
And what's your job at Wayne?
I work at the Norfolk Farm, nurse's aide.
How long have you been doing that?
Like 5 years.
How did you end up with that job?
I was out there. I was on a walk one day, and I seen a beeper went off, and the nurse was struggling with the bag trying to get to the beeper. I had to help her, and I ran over there to help her, and from that point on, that's just where I was. And I love doing what I do.
What do you love about it? Why do you love working in the infirmary?
I love helping people. I'm not out to hurting people anymore. I like to help and show my love and care.
What are some of your responsibilities in the infirmary?
I'm a hospice. If the beeper go off, let's say somebody having a heart attack, I got to get the stretcher and run down there with the nurse to help put him on there, and like everything, really,
They need whatever they need you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any training for that?
And since I've been here, yeah.
What kind of training did you get for that job?
They teach you,
When did you get on the job training, or did you take a program?
on job training.
Well, your work supervisors evaluated you as excellent in all of the criteria for your evaluation. They think very highly of your work in the infirmary, so you should be proud of that. Warren, what can you tell us about Mr. Wesley?
Judge Jackson, I'm maybe a little repetitious here, but I've made some notes prior to the hearing, and you've touched on a lot of them, but I'd like to go over my notes real quick. Fender Wesley was 16 years old. Like I said, at the time of the offense, he went to Angola at the age of 19. He stayed there from 1999 until 2012. He came to David Wade in 2012. He's 43 years old now. He's had 2 write-ups since he's been away. The last one, both of those were in 2016. That's the only disciplinary reports he's had since his time at David Wade. He is an orderly in the North Infirmary. He does work as a nursing aide, and I've witnessed him firsthand. He's a very compassionate, caring individual. He helps with our offenders in the end of life program. He helps the medical staff any way they need. He helps, carry their equipment when they respond to emergencies. He cleans the toilets. He sweeps and mops the floors. He cleans up. That's part of his job as well as taking care of the offenders that are in the end of life program. He's got an excellent work history, which you noted, and he's, like I say, he's obviously not the same individual he was in 1999 when he first went to LSP. He couldn't do these things that he does for us in the infirmary, caring for these people, if he didn't have, if he didn't have compassion, he didn't have empathy for the situations that they're in. He's got a good history of participating in programming. He's gone through Living in Balance, Cage Your Rage, Victim Awareness, Thinking for a Change. He participates in faith-based programming. He's also an honor inmate, and conversations I've had with Offender Wesley over the years, he's always expressed remorse for the crime he committed. I think with his mindset today, this would never happen. I can't speak for when he was 16 years old, but I know as a 43-year-old mature young man, I'm confident that something of this nature would not occur again. He's definitely on the right track, and his mindset is towards helping people, and I see that from him every day just by watching him work in the infirmary when I make rounds through there. He's a model inmate at this institution.
Thank you, Warden.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. If you were to be successful, what is your transition plan? Where would you live? What kind of work would you do? What would be your plans going forward?
My mother, I was going to stay with my mother and father, and my cousin, he got his own carpentry business too, and he got a job for me. I got a job.
If you could speak to the victim's family, what would you tell them, Mr. Wesley?
That I'm very remorseful for what I did. I was young. I was a 16-year-old kid. I didn't understand the consequences of my actions back then. I didn't know. And I'm very sorry that I must took their family through that. And I pray that they have found it in their heart to forgive me. I'm really remorseful for it. I'm deeply hurt that I'm still taking them through this.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley, Mrs. Johnson. That's all I have.
We'll hear from the folks who will want to speak in support. First, we'd like to hear from Ms. Frances Wesley.
My name is Frances Wesley. I am the mother of Darrell Wesley. And it's been a long time, and I know he's remorseful, and we are too, about all the happenings and the bad times it made for the family of the victim. And I'm here to ask, to say that I know, in all this time, my son has changed. He is a better person, and he's looking for a better outlook on life, and to be able to, come out and work and live and do better and to help other people. And whatever it takes for me and my husband, we're here together to help him and to help him to find a better way of life. We are there to do that. We will, and I know he has grown. He has grown so much, and he has matured. And now, if he can just come out, and we're going to be there for any situation to help him stay on the right road and do the right thing. Although I feel like he knows now what he needs to do.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Is Mr. David Ashley there with you?
Yes.
Yes, my name is David Minister Ashley. I'm the cousin of the defendant. We grew up more like brothers. And I'm the one that has the construction company, willing to give him a job or make him take a job anyway. Either way, it got to go. But yes, I understand everything that happened and, everything it caused. And I'm also an example of another chance myself. And I go around ministering about people having another chance and taking advantage of it. I even minister to him on the phone, and whenever I visit him and other people that's in prison for sentencing, when I get a chance, and I know the change in them. And I also know the example that I make, I know he see it. He don't see it as much as people that's around me, but I know it makes other people want to change. And also, I don't know if y'all, like when your parent tell you something, you don't do it, and you find out that you should have did it. Even though I'm not his parent, but me and him had that kind of relationship to where I know he'll listen to me now. And I have a lot more to say now, positive things, and I teach people how to do carpenter work also. And I definitely have a job for them. And I don't know how this is supposed to go. Do y'all have any questions for me?
No, sir. Thank you. We appreciate your input. And is it the aunt? I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Miss Ashley.
Hi, my name is Vicky Ashley. I'm Adara's aunt. Like Adara has made so much improvement. He's matured so much. And as I stated in my letter that I'm a counselor as well as a educator. So I'm available to assist him in, like I say, any way possible when he comes home to make sure he gets to work, like with his job situation, any counseling that he may, just to counsel him to keep him on the right track. If he needs to talk, and I know counseling is very therapeutic to the soul, and to assist him in any way possible. And like I said, it's my goal is for him is to become a productive member of society. Because at 16, he had not grown. I was in the system, I was in the education system back then. So I know with 16-year-old, he hadn't had a chance to develop yet. Brain had not developed. And I know that he can be a productive member of society. And that's the goal, is to be, be all you can be. And when he comes home, say when, speaking out on faith, that when he comes home, that I'm here as well as the family. It's a lot of that when he comes home, that I'm here as well as the family. There's a lot of us in this room that y'all can't see, that we are going to make sure we're going to pull ourselves around him to make sure that he can become that member of society that we all want to be.
Support team.
Yeah, he has a great support team. And I wish I could turn this camera around and let y'all see how many people are in here in support of him.
Well, yes, ma'am. Thank you. And thank you all for being here in support. This time we're going to hear from the opposition, and that's the sister of victim's sister, Ms. Davis. Good morning. Good afternoon. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Sharmika Davis, Demario's sister. This is difficult. It's like it haven't even been a year ago when I saw you. All I can think about is his age. He was just an innocent 13-year-old riding his bike, doing what any 13-year-old would do. I wished the Lord would have placed it in your heart when they came at you to be that strong person that you say you are now, to advise them to turn around. Your family, you guys are so blessed because y'all get to see a Daryl. You get to talk to him. You get to see his kids. We don't have that option. I can't call Mario. All I have is a picture on the wall. And what hurts most of all, I just heard you admit what you did, Daryl, and you was saying you was innocent. What hurts also most of all, my mom is gone and she had to live with this every day of her life. And now I'm dealing with this. I know you're sorry from what you said, but that doesn't take the pain. I feel that, and I pray that they make the right decision to keep you there so you wouldn't make that mistake again. People say things to get out and it sounds good on paper, but you never wrote my mom. You never apologized. You just admitted the truth. So I pray you guys make the right decision and keep him behind there. Mario, don't get a second chance at Daryl. Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Davis, for speaking for this this morning. Mr. Wesley, is there a statement you'd like to make before we vote and address your remarks to the panel?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a little nervous, but I got something right. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Second, to express how remorseful I am to the Jenkins family and saying I'm very sorry. I know there's nothing I can say will undo the great loss and the pain and sorrow my actions have caused. Third, to my family for having you been faced with this blunder of my choice. Every day I have to carry that hurt in my heart. My prayers are always asking God to forgive me of my wrongs and to guide me to be a better person. Today I stand before you, 24 years later, a completely different man. The kid I was at the age of 16 is long gone. So the immaturity, the refusal to own responsibility. Through this journey, I learned to love and accept myself, others, no matter life differences. Over the time, life continued its destiny, and I found myself surviving to live. Learning to change the negative circumstances into positive ones. Daily challenge myself to be better. Found myself in church, joining faith-based programs, received my GED, as well as victim awareness, thinking for a change, and other personal development programs. These goals helped me to find self-worth, something I didn't know about, let alone didn't have. There is not a day my mind clouds over or my heart does not ache heavily. God himself knows this, my family, my aging mother and father. Please give me a chance to share our lives together. I'll fail as a son, as a man, as a father. Please, I'm pleading for you to allow the man I am today, show society and my family how productive and positive I have become. Remorseful I am, and my co-defendants are. Thank you for your time and consideration. God bless y'all.
Thank you, sir. I think we are prepared. We'll start with Mrs. Jackson.
First, I'd like to address Ms. Davis. Ms. Davis, it's apparent that you are still suffering all of these years. And I can't say that I understand completely because I'm not in your shoes. But I know this has to be very difficult for you, and I appreciate being here and sharing your input with us. And I'm going to say something to you, and I hope that you'll take this from my heart. Forgiveness is not for the offender. Forgiveness is for the one who gives forgiveness. And it is amazing what forgiveness will do in your life, how lift the burden off of you. It's not going to take away your loss, but it will free you from anger and bitterness, and your life will be better. I know this was a terrible crime, but our job is to not only focus on the crime, but also on the individual that we have with us. I have taken into consideration that when this crime was committed, the offender was 16 years old. And what a 16-year-old mind does and thinks is totally different from what a 43-year-old person thinks. And so we look at who that person is today, not who they were when they were a 16-year-old teenager. When I see Mr. Wesley today, I see an individual who is genuinely remorseful, and I will tell you that I've seen a lot of fake remorse. But this is an individual who is genuinely remorseful. He has done a lot of work on himself to improve himself. But the thing that's most impressive for me is what he does for others. It shows that he wants to make amends for the harm he has caused by doing good things for other people. And it takes a special heart to be able to work in basically what's a hospice situation where people are dying, and you have to show compassion to them as they transition from this life into the next. Also, just to address Ms. Davis's concerns, inmates are forbidden contact the victims, or they can't do it, not allowed to do it. And so I just want you to know that. But today, looking at who Mr. Wesley is today, I've listened to extremely positive remarks from the warden. I've looked at the fact that he's taken excellent programming, that he has an outstanding institutional record, that he shows great compassion in his work in the infirmary. His supervisors all give him excellent remarks. So my vote today would be to grant Mr. Wesley's request for an early release with the condition that he have no contact with his family, with the victim's family, that he abide by a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew, and that he meet with his parole officer weekly for the first 60 days of supervision. That's just one vote, Mr. Wesley. That's my vote for what you.
Mrs. Wise. First of all, to Ms. Davis, I echo what Ms. Jackson told you. I just encourage you to just really think about that and give it some thought. Mr. Wesley, and again, I thank you for being here, Ms. Davis. Thank you for the courage that you took to show up today. You're doing a lot better than you think you are. Mr. Wesley, the research is showing that all that we can ask from an individual such as yourself, you've done harm, you've healed yourself, and now you're healthy. And you've done that. You've demonstrated that today. You did harm, you owned it, you accept responsibility for it, you've healed yourself, and now you're going about helping others. That's all we can ask. I concur with Ms. Jackson. My vote is to grant, all for the reasons already been stated on the record. But I would like for you to write a letter of apology to the victim's family and submit it to your probation officer within the first 3, if you're successful today, within the first 3 months of release. Probation and parole will reach out to them and ask them if they want the letter. If they want it, they'll take it. If not, it'll just be in your file. But I want you to do it within 3 months if you're successful today. Best wishes to you, sir.
Mr. Wesley, I do concur with my colleagues. My vote also is to future parole with the same special conditions. So today, second parole, if you'd like to.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Gordon Goodwin, that concludes our business. Thanks for accommodating us today. It is 12:07.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, so what did you guys think about that? I mean, he was 16 years old when he got locked up. He's been there more than half his life. Yeah, you feel the pain for the victim. I don't really know how to comment on that. He was 16. I mean, I think so many of us have done pretty crazy things when we were 16. Obviously not kill someone, but could have been in the position to do something stupid. He seemed to follow all the rules, and he's an upstanding guy, and he's got all the family support. So I don't know. In my mind, I think that this is a perfect example of the pardon, of forgiving someone who's serving life. Again, he was 16. I think it was the right decision. But love to hear your comments.